Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
And go.
And we've made it
Here we are.
to the episode that starts the 10 of the top 25 list.
Probably where
actually.
most people will start listening.
Yes, and so we thank you if you're just now joining us. If you're not joining us and you didn't go back and listen to the other 15 games we talked about, actually talked more about 15 since our list.
If they're not joining us, then they won't know.
They won't know.
They won't care.
They don't care. So screw you guys. That's what I'm saying.
Frack you that
Because,
don't listen.
well, yeah, because
Anyone that doesn't listen, we have no use for you.
these lists are dumb anyways, but we're doing them for you, and you don't even have enough time or want to or wherewithal to go back and listen to the full list. That's fine. We're fine. We need them clicks. Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast, the board game.
Aggressive.
This is why we don't talk about board games. We talk about a lot of board games. Every episode is board games.
You're getting more and more
I am
rage-filled.
so tired of nothing but what does this piece of cardboard do?
Oh, see, that's why we banter.
Weirdos.
We're mostly banter. We're not a board game podcast.
We are.
We are a podcast
Don't say that.
about board games.
We're a board game adjacent.
Have we done a single podcast where we don't discuss at least a board game?
There's that time you got really emotional and started talking about. Yeah, we do that. We talk topics.
I guess so.
Occasionally we mention board games.
Okay.
But this episode,
Jerry is that person talking there. I'm Gaby.
Oh, right.
In case this is your first, you know what? When they see top 10, they're going to say, "Oh, that's it." They might tune in. If you're a new listener, welcome to the Board Game
to the
Snobs
show.
podcast. We don't generally talk about board games at great length. Email us boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. Tell a friend, tell a family member, rate and review us. Blah blah blah. Go ahead.
like our show, was
We demand you like our show.
subscribe.
Did you know there's a list of illegal baby names in the United States?
What's the most illegal name?
This says there's some specific states that have stricter naming laws, and a few states like Kentucky have none in place. Kentucky, name your kid whatever.
Wild West out there, Kentucky.
Whatever you knew you could name.
All-
You can name your kid Adolf Hitler if you wanted to.
Raylan.
One of the restricted names in all the other states. You
Really?
cannot name your child Adolf Hitler.
You cannot.
Please don't. I mean, you said really as if you're shocked. Who in their right mind would do that other than like a neo-Nazi or a white supremacist?
Why would you? But why? I mean, so like, okay.
I'm kind of tread lightly,
Just-
please.
No, I'm just saying. It's like,
Why would you want to name your child Adolf Hitler?
I am a German immigrant. I have come to Texas. I've opened a smokehouse. My great grandfather was named Adolf, and I'm going to name my son
I'm probably going to cut all of
Adolf.
this.
So
Okay, no. I'm not saying Adolf. Those two names put together.
So you can. Oh, okay. I got you.
You cannot name your child Adolf Hitler Baker.
Gotcha. All right.
I would venture to say probably not even Hitler. It's just the Hitler is probably the key. Wouldn't you think? I mean, Adolf is a pretty prominent, not prominent, but it's pretty common.
Adolf, Randolph.
Right. I think it's the Hitler, but most specifically Adolf Hitler.
Adolf sounds
illegal in
like
the United
Randolph.
States. Also illegal. And the rest of these are not like, for me, they're more religious and not like Adolf. But this is weird. Okay, get this. Get this.
Oh, Grandpa Adolf, you like to drink.
Adolf Hitler is out. You cannot name your child King.
Why not?
It doesn't explain why. It just says these are illegal.
King?
King, like you're the king of a country.
Okay.
Queen.
That's dumb.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus?
The Roman numeral 3.
Why? What?
7. That's a good name.
It's Trey.
I'd name my kid 7.
Yeah.
That's Seinfeld. Santa Claus. Majesty.
That's a good name.
That is a good name. I kind of like that.
Mr. Majesty.
Adolf
Dr.
Hitler.
Majesty.
Messiah. The at sign. The A with the circle around it?
At whatever.
The at sign.
Make
or
your Twitter handle lit.
this one is weird, and I guess it's because of the last two numbers. 1069.
1069.
Illegal.
Wow.
I was going to name my kids. If I had 3 kids, I was going to go 1068 through 1070. Can't do it now.
That doesn't make... I don't know why you should...
It's very weird.
Well, I guess because the kids can grow up and change your name. Like if you go, this is no longer... You know...
It says another example of a baby name that would most likely get rejected is putting a numeral in your child's name. An example being Monica, but the I being a 1.
So you can't put a numeral in your name? Didn't Elon Musk...
In general.
Didn't Elon Musk name his kid like some
it was like
keyboard?
It
They
was like
smashed the keyboard and there it was?
It's pretty much QWERTY.
Yeah, it's like that.
AEX turn. Yeah. But anyway, back to the whole, like, there's been a lot of other people that have been horrendously horrible in history.
Mm-hmm.
You got your Joseph Stalins, you got your Genghis Khans that just like wiped out just people, right? Murder, rape, pillage.
But he's got a restaurant.
The Genghis Grill.
It's pretty good, too.
That's what I'm saying. That's weird to me.
But you can't. But it's like, you don't necessarily associate.
Like,
it's not
almost
modern.
everyone is like, they can trace almost everyone back to Genghis Khan because he
Well, your relative
did a lot of horrible things. But why is Genghis accepted?
Well, because it's not as close. You cannot. It's not modern.
It's not too. It's
like
not so
Adolf
close
is
in
modern.
history.
You
It's
can't
too
go
close
to
in
Adolf
history.
Donut Shop
That's right.
or Putin's pretzels.
But you can go to the Genghis Grill and grill you up some meats.
Which I had. Fun fact, just the first time I went to a Korean grill, and it was really good, where you get your raw meat and you put it in the bowl, which freaked me out because I was like, this meat is raw. I'm supposed to put it all in a bowl myself and do what with it? And season it. You do it yourself.
But I wonder why do that? Okay, that's a grill. Why is it a Genghis Grill?
Because it's like, it's Korean, and they're like, what can we help? Or not Mongolian. That's
Mongolian beef.
Yeah, Mongolian beef. And so they're like, what will these dumb Americans recognize? Do they know anybody else? And they're like, no. They know Godzilla, Genghis Khan. We got to name something that's brand recognition. So there you go. Genghis Khan. Because we're all related to him.
That's interesting.
I would assume.
What about the other guy that was Attila, the Hun?
Attila the Honey? Attila Honey? You have some
I mean, all these guys that like conquered and went to war on a nonstop basis, they're all terrible, terrible, terrible people.
Mm-hmm. You've been drinking a lot of wine. And so I don't know why you're all of a sudden compelled to go into history while we're trying to do this freaking list.
I just was talking about baby names.
I know, but you went down a dark path.
One of the
this
first
is
ones,
why we delete episodes.
This is what the first one was, Adolf Hitler. I know that's a touchy subject for obvious reasons. I think that's weird that he's ixnayed, but nobody else is.
Well, if you did terrible
stuff, I bet
stuff,
after a few years, you might find Putin on there.
Well, you think that they're just going to start banning names?
Apparently.
I know, but I don't know. Kentucky's
that's not just Kentucky. Like they were like in most states, these are banned.
That's just super weird.
It is weird.
Who do you petition?
How do you ban King?
How do you petition that? Like, how can you petition somebody?
Petition.org, change.org.
No, like what state legislator decides that we're not going to register your kid's name?
I don't know. It's interesting. According to usbirthcertificates.com. Go on there and check it out.
How about because I'm on petition that everybody stop using these weird spellings of the names.
Like what?
Like legitly any child name within the past 5 years. Kaylee, Kylie, and they all spell it with like E's and X's and Y's and all this weirdness. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just spell it like it sounds.
Gen Zers.
Exactly. We should ban that. Start the petition.
My name is Kyle, but it's Kaigle.
It's exactly what I'm talking like. And you drink the same Monster and punch holes in the wall like the guy who spells Kyle with a Y and an L and an E.
In your trailer.
Yeah, so it's like you're not...
Not that there's anything wrong with living in a trailer.
Yeah. No, it's just harder for us to put your name on the bench warrant, Kyle. It's like, listen, we might as well just spell your name.
And he's like, that ain't me.
I
You
don't
spell
know
it
what
wrong.
that
That
is.
ain't me.
That's E-I. E-I.
E-I-O.
Oh, yeah. So
Nelly.
anyways.
Country grammar.
That's what Kyle is. It's country grammar. Can we move on, please?
Breaking into our top 10.
Was that the banter?
I don't know. We might have to strike all of that.
I really wish. How about you just cut all that out and we can start the top 10 list like
All right,
here.
starting now.
And I'll act like you didn't mention Adolf Hitler.
And welcome to our top 10.
Okay. Cut all that, please. My number 10 is Hansa Teutonica. Hard merge into the game, the German game of merchants.
Stop. Just
Which
go.
was also your number
Stop,
something.
but go.
Hansa
Teutonica was my number 13.
It's my number 10. It's an amazing game. There is a new edition. They redid it. They brought it back out. It's got some expansions in the big box version. Amazing game. Player interaction.
I like big boxes.
Fooling other players into them thinking this is the route you're taking. So just think of Ticket to Ride, Cutthroat.
That's a good point you mentioned there about that game. Fooling people into thinking this is where you're going to go.
Because that's what you do. You put your little cubes out there and you're putting stuff out there and people think this is the route. And that's what I like to think that this game is. It's a big map where you're trying to get information and think this is where my opponent's going. And then all of a sudden they go, nope, going the other way. It's a great game. Really do enjoy Hansa Teutonica. It's in my top 10, so it must be good. It's highly respected.
Must be good.
My number 10. Go on.
My number 10 is one also previously mentioned.
I'm going to see if my number 10 is better than your number 10.
Well, I mean, you would consider your 10 better than my 10
I don't know.
because
Your
my 10 was higher on your list. Underwater Cities.
Oh.
I have played this game a buttload.
This is a dumb idea. I had to see if my number 10 was because it's like, of course.
It's pretty
it's like,
apparent.
I made this list and didn't put it on there.
I literally just said, you just mentioned this game. You're like, I'll see if it's better than my 10.
What's this? It's like, but if I admit that it's better than mine, then it's obviously
I made a huge mistake.
It's on my list higher. Was this just beer? Okay.
It was just beer. Vladimir Suchi, Underwater Cities.
Vladimir Suchi.
But if this is your first episode to ever be listening to us, Underwater Cities, a game that is terraforming Mars, but better in your underwater, better components. Jerry went to the BFEGS the other day and saw the expansion.
It's expensive.
For $60 frickin' dollars.
And for $60, we could take water to Mars.
I mean, it's just insane that the expansion is the same price as the game.
I know. That's
all
where
for
we're at.
those inlay boards.
It is. Those boards are inlaid.
And I'm sure they are very nice.
They're lit.
I just can't pay them prices. Call me Dan Hughes.
No, I'm not. No, Dan.
I can't do it. But it's a great game. It's a route builder and also a engine building type thing. It's a good game. We talked about it previous episode. Yeah.
Listen to my more nuanced explanation of the previous episode.
See, that's what happens when you record all these at once and pretend like they're all separate podcasts.
I change my shirt each time so in case people see us live. Continuity. My number.
But the wine glass keeps getting refilled. And it gets
every time I turn around. So indeed, my number 10 was better than your number 10, subjectively.
Subjectively.
Number 9.
9? Well, go ahead.
My number 9 is a new game.
Uh-oh. I want to guess on some of these.
Just take a guess.
A new game very recently?
I don't. It's been within. It's not been on my list before. It's not been on a list, so it's within the past 2 years.
Within the past, Dune.
Very good.
Really?
Yeah. Dune Imperium. A great, not only just worker placement, but the card play, the resources. It is. Yeah, I know this game come out at the same times of Arnak, and everybody was comparing the two. From what I've seen of Arnak, there's a reason why I've avoided it. Dune is the game for me. Thank you kindly. I am enthralled with this game, and I think
Dune, my number 12.
Very good.
Dude, like I said, I've played Ruins of Arnak. It's okay. I played it on BGA. people like to buy the real game and buy these upgrades, like to make it like it's almost like they're trying hard to make it better. You can buy all the upgrades you want. Dune Imperium is better. Dune also has an upgrade kit for $80 frickin'. Insane just for some minis. I don't think so. This game is very nice. As we said, you run up those same tracks, but also it's got this battlefield.
Earth.
It's so wonderful.
John Travolta.
And who's the guy that was the sniper in?
Barry Pepper.
Barry Pepper.
I'm so glad I pulled that out of nowhere.
You really did.
You know why Barry Pepper? Because Barry Pepper was not only on Saving Private Ryan, which had your man, Diesel,
my man, Vin Diesel
in it, and a bunch of other people. But he played in a baseball.
What if they just said Saving Private Ryan starring Vin Diesel and Barry Pepper?
I'm really disappointed. Barry
and two more.
I've watched one baseball game. I hated it. It was dull, but I love baseball movies.
Was he in the 69?
60. Asterisk. Can't name your kid.
Not a dirty joke.
But Barry Pepper and somebody else. I think it's the guy that was
he played Roger Maris then.
I don't know the baseball guys. I just know that
Roger Maris was the home run king until the hemorrhoids come in and everybody started hitting home runs.
Yeah. And if you take hemorrhoids, you apparently get really good at it.
You're very strong.
You get like, what was the guy, Mark the guy that the guy that hit all the home runs for the longest time.
It was Barry.
No,
Sammy Sosa and Mark
Hamill.
Mark, I want to say Grace. McGuire. I was saying Grace because he played for the Giants.
You can look at that guy. He is one large hemorrhoid. He is taking so much.
However, they say you can look at Barry Bonds, like his early years, very small, skinny guy. Then his head got really big.
So, anyways, Dune, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Let the spice flow.
Let the spice flow. You're number 9. Dune, my number 12. Excellent, excellent game.
Thank you. Like I designed it.
My number
8.
What was my number 9?
Or 9?
No, my number 9. You went first.
I got you.
My number 10 was Underwater Cities. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, we're good. My number 10, Underwater. My number 9, Captains of the Gulf.
The fishing game?
The fishing game by our friend, Jason Dinger. Friend of the show.
I don't think he listens to the show.
He used to.
We
ran him off.
Yeah.
I remember he commented when we played that one game that we thought was just god awful, and he said he liked it and he made a post about it.
Port of Niagara.
Yeah.
I remember Jason Dinger at BGG when
we have things built by him.
Yeah, we have thangers. He makes wood.
Dingers.
He's a carpenter. And he was talking to us. Metas said he liked the show, and then Enrique walked up, and the welcome he gave Enrique lives rent free in my brain because he says, are you Jerry and Gaby? Oh yeah, I love the show. And shook our hand, sitting there talking to us, and I was like, oh yeah, you designed Captains of the Gulf. And he had that longest run.
Because up at that point, that was all he had.
Yeah, he listened to the episode where you said Captains of the Gulf, and I said, never heard of it. And he said, that's the quote I'm going to put on the game for kids. Like, Jerry Baker, never heard of it. Then Enrique walked up, and he shook Enrique's hand and said, this is a great honor. Enrique stood there.
Why does Enrique get all the glory?
He does none of the work.
He does none of the work.
Where's his list? He doesn't even listen to the show.
What does he do? He gets all the glory when people meet him. People are all ecstatic to meet Enrique.
He just hangs out. People, I don't know.
Anyway, Captains of the Gulf, a very thematic, very Euro game with my boy Rondell.
It's Forrest Gump the game.
And you go out and you're shrimping and you're crabbing and you're clamming, and you can clam and crab and shrimp those things all out of the ocean, then you're screwed. Then you got to go find some other places. Then you got to take that back to the port and sell them for money. Super thematic. I thoroughly enjoy this game.
Yes.
I have yet. Okay, so we had a discussion, and I have only
don't go too meta. Listen, we ain't got time for all this meta. We're going to do this. You're ruining topics by going to meta.
All right, fine, go.
I got it. Right?
Well, whatever. Go ahead.
No, you want to save it?
No, my number 9. Give it a go. Go ahead. Okay.
My number 8, much like Dune, involves a Baron.
Barony.
An awesome game, a simple game, one that doesn't get enough love. It gets plenty of love here. We shower it with love. It can't get, there's love on it now. Barony is well loved if you've listened to the Board Game Snobs for episode 1 onward.
Mm-hmm.
Barony is an amazing game. I love it. It is still just to me, I think the thing that gets me is how well it scales. With 2 players, it's 1 game. It's a different type of game with 3, different type of game with 4. The strategies in it, very simple. Everything about this game, although I have avoided using this term so far, but elegant.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Barony, my number 8. You should have this game.
I would say there's 3 games on the Board Game Snobs Hall of Fame.
Oh, you're just going to declare it. Barony?
Barony, what do you think?
I don't want to say it out loud, but
I would say there's 3 games.
Okay, you said
that,
3.
To me and you, we mentioned that they're hardly talked about. But
Godfather?
Okay. Swing and a miss.
Okay.
But that's true.
But now I'm going to think of your 3. Huh?
I would say Barony, Gold West, Royals.
I agree with that because they're all completely different. Royals are very entry level, but yet it's a step up. Awesome game.
I said Royals is Ticket to Ride, but fun.
Barony is this next step, kind of is abstract, but the theme and everything about it's great. Yeah, nobody talks about Gold West.
Gold West. I mean, Z liked it, made a big video about
Who's
it, but
Z?
and it's like, well, he's the dice tower, so it should be big.
Oh.
But that just, I mean, it just for some reason does not
Shows
catch on.
his influence. They've sold tens of copies since we've talked about it. So Barony, my number 8. You, sir.
Excellent choice.
That is. It's better than your number 8.
My number 8. How dare you? Jason Dinger will take offense because I had a hard time putting these back to back.
Dingers on
I
here?
put these back to freaking back
Baseball
because
call out dingers.
and that's the reason. Crescent City Cargo. I've played it multiple times.
You really like Crescent City Cargo.
But this is the whole discussion I had in my head. I'm going meta again, but I was like, to me, Crescent City my boy Rondell.
I know.
Like that's
That's
whole
all,
game.
you've gone. I'm gonna bring Hong Kong Blackout so you can play Rondell again.
You gather resources on the first Rondell. You gather them. On the next Rondell, you sell them either on trains, ships, or
Cargo barrels. Cargo containers.
So you're gathering them and then shipping them off. It's a very simple concept.
UPS the game.
You have to have morale and you have to have workers. You have to have morale to do any sort of resource gathering. You have to have morale and workers to do any sort of shipping.
Because you're a union.
Or building. And it's just, this game I have said repeatedly on our Instagram posts, on this podcast, this game is so frustratingly restrictive in the actions. Every time, multiple players will do an action and then have to recall that action because, oh crap, I don't have the stuff I thought I needed to do that.
But yet it's so easy.
It is.
Like when you teach the game,
so easy.
Go around in circles. Rondell
That's
this.
it.
That's all you got to do.
That's it. You're just gathering stuff and shipping
It's
it.
like, all I got to do is get this to there to there. This should be easy.
That's what you think. But it's also, and because of that, it's easy to teach. I've taught this to 3 different groups and all of them love it. Yep. And they all think the same thing. To start off, they're like, oh, it doesn't. Jason, okay, the artist, Harold. I thought Jason did the art. Harold Liesk.
This is very basic art.
Yes.
Very drab.
It's not going to bam, catch your eye. And it's just Rondell. So you're going to look at it and say,
there's nothing special.
Man, I freaking love this game.
And
And the only reason I have this one step ahead of Captains, even though to me, Captains is much more thematic, is that this one is ease of entry and play.
Both Captains of the Gulf and Crescent City Cargo were on the short list of my top 30. If we had done, they were very close and got nudged out. So, yeah, these
are games. I mean, you said you've seen
I've seen them at all the local game stores. I'm sure with his next game, because this is going to be a trilogy, will come out, you'll be able to get this on Kickstarter. This is readily available. You can find Captains of the Gulf and Crescent City Cargo, both by Jason Dinger. They're good. And I see these being games that are going to be Hall of Famers for us as well, because I don't hear anybody else talking about them. And
I've heard no one talk about Crescent City Cargo.
The less people talk about great games and the more we play them, the more irate we get about them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I highly suspect this is both of these. So I'm excited for his third game to come out. Crescent City Cargo.
Crescent City Cargo, the best cargo game I've played. Put that on the box. On your next reprint. 10 out of 10.
My numbers. This is all of Enrique's quotes. I like it. My number 7 is also one of Gaby's. Previously, a game that killed through the ages for me, Nations.
Uh-oh.
Nations is the titular, is that right?
No.
Nation building game.
Oh, well, there you go. You made it titular.
There you go. I'll say it. I love the fact that you're able, it desperately needs another edition to spice up the art and to streamline a few things. That being able to be soloed, how it scales, how easy it is to understand. Here's your player board. This is your resources. You're utilizing workers. Basically everything that you think that you like about Scythe. This is Nations. It's basically a good version of Scythe. There's no fancy artwork or anything to draw your attention. It's just pure, solid mechanics that make sense with a player board and engine building and a little bit of combat done correctly. Yeah. Nations is
do your Scythe correlation, because I'm not sensing it right now.
Do you have a player board in Scythe?
Yeah.
Do you have a player board in Nations?
Yeah.
Do you take workers off your player board onto various areas to activate certain fields or areas?
Okay.
Everything about it, such as how much things cost, how much you have to feed them, everything is isolated on that player board. The only thing is that it's just a regular looking player board. There's nothing fancy about it in Nations. Everything about Nations is very drab. The artwork, everything is very toned down. It's an older game. Positively amazing.
You know, and that's
spot on.
The spot on. I think, sadly, that's what is missing from a lot of these games that makes them huge hits, is Scythe has all this bling to it.
Scythe is awful.
If you put bling to Crescent City Cargo, big ships and all these glorious pieces and inlaid boards, it would get the same stuff.
Yeah. Scythe is mechanics that sort of kind of work, moshed together, and it's all presentation and flair.
It's
and
presentation.
It's fine.
You got the mix.
It's fine.
You have the Stonemaier resources that are so cool looking. That's it.
Yeah, it's fine. So, number 7, Nations, an older game.
Your number 8 is Nations.
No, number 7 is Nations.
I have number 10 Hansa, number 9 Dune, number 8 Nations. What did I miss?
Barony.
Ah, frack. What number was that?
That was 8.
Okay.
My number 7 is Nations. Thank you for giving a recapitulation.
I write it down for that reason. So 7 Nations.
Your number 6.
10, 9, 8. No, my number 7.
I wanted to skip
I forget who goes in order.
I wanted to skip that. Go ahead.
My number 7. Empires. Age of Discovery.
Very interesting game by Glenn Dover.
Drover.
Which, again, another game that was on my short list as well. That mechanism of placing your workers out there, sending them over.
Well, you set your workers on the side, and then from that, you make the moves over to the Americas or whichever side you're playing on. This is a game, there's like 3 or 4 games that I've played in my life where when I'm playing them and it clicks, it just tickles my brain in this such a way that I'm just like, oh my God, I just love the way this game is working. And this game is that, Empire's Age of Discovery. The worker placement, and it's also like set collection with some of those pieces you get there with these tiles. I just love this game.
Very nice. My number 6, last one on the list for me, is also a new game. New to the list and new to me. This game, not only does it work well with people, and its core mechanic is one that I desperately love. It has a pretty good solo as well. I love the artwork. I love all the particular little add-ons that was in it. It's just a great game. It's just boiled down, distilled, just good. And if you like negotiation, Moonrakers. It was by far.
I was wondering if this would make it on your list.
It Chinatown was always a game that's nothing but negotiation. I really enjoyed Chinatown, and negotiation is one of my favorite mechanisms. And then here comes Game of Thrones, which adds on a bunch of rules and it's difficult. And then comes Lords of Vegas, which has some negotiations, but it's really wild. Here, Moonrakers does something. It balances out negotiation just perfectly, along with everything else that this game does, where you are out completing missions and asking other people to help you out. Just a great game. Absolutely.
And very nice presentation to this
beautiful
game as well.
game. It was very hot for a while, and now it's been moved on.
Like everything else in this, the hobby.
If you missed Moonrakers last year, track it down. It is readily available, I'm pretty sure, because it will be reprinted. I'm without a doubt.
It's one of these games that there's a lot of good reaction, but interaction between players because of the negotiation.
So that's mine. So my top 5 are all amazing games.
So Hansa, Dune, Barony, Nations, Moonrakers for Jerry.
That sounds like an amazing list, but will you just wait? The 1 through 5. Oh, we got to hear your 6.
My number 6. I have
stop.
Underwater, Captains of the Gulf, Crescent City Cargo, Empire is my number 6.
Everything had to do with water.
I'm very into
You like fluids. You consume copious amounts of fluids.
I consume copious amount of fluids.
2 beers, 3 Diet Cokes, and a glass of wine since we've been sitting there.
It's not Diet Coke, it's Coke Zero.
I don't know the difference.
I don't either.
It's aspartame, it'll ruin you.
Whatever. Only rats get cancer from aspartame.
Actually, rats are resistant to cancer because they're elongated telomeres.
Ooh, I need to get that telomere, chew it up and eat it.
You can't.
Then it will prevent me as well,
It's
right?
genetic.
Not if I eat it.
No, you can't eat it.
Then it will be in my body.
No, because you can't do that. You don't know how that works.
By the transitive properties, I will no longer get cancer, just like the rats.
Right.
And I get the telomere. All right. So, you got me off track.
Telomere Mortensen. It's like guys in Boba Fett. What that telomere?
Well, he shouldn't have needed that Bacta tank to get healthy.
He didn't need it. I gotta get my telomeres longer.
Okay, so my number 6 is Jerry's 2019 number 1. Brass Birmingham.
Burgerham, huh?
Brass Birmingham, and this is one of the cases that it may very so well be. I haven't played it in a long time, but I do really like this game a lot. And we have recorded podcasts over it. As I said, it was Jerry's 2019 number 1. I suspect it might still be. I don't know. It's definitely in his top 5. As of yet, he hasn't mentioned it. So this game it's Martin Wallace, one of our favorite designers. You're route building. You're laying. You're doing. It's first you do these boat routes, and then you do train routes. And you build these buildings, and if you don't build up to a certain level, well, then those all get wiped out. Then you have to start back over. This is one of those games, as I've discussed on here previously, that it evolves from one round to the next. There's a certain point where this game switches and it changes. I like that in games a lot. I like games to change either through just play as the game goes along and it evolves, or there's just a certain point in the game where it just flips a switch. Now we're doing this. I like Brass Birmingham, and not much else needs to be said because it's everywhere. It's all over the place. It's super popular. It was like one of the number 1. The old one was like the number 1 like app forever.
It's ranked incredibly high on BGG. I think it's like the 4th highest game.
And this, of course, is the remake that also has some other plus two more on there.
Well, it's the guys that helped him on Roxley.
Martin Wallace and 2 more, and then the publisher Roxley.
Who's this 2 more guy? He's hot. He's helping everybody. He's the pit bull of designers.
Oh, he's like Prospero Hall.
He's the DJ Khaled. Another one.
2 more. So, our top 5.
Coming up next
week.
I'm pretty sure you could, here's
unless we take a break and do something else.
Here's the thing that's got me. I'm pretty sure you could walk my list of top 5. You know who my top 5 is.
Okay.
You might not be able to put them in order, but you know it. I am lost on your number 1. I think I could probably guess one of your top 5. The rest I am
really
like right now. I'm pretty sure you could just sit here and go, oh, blah 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 blah, and name my top 5. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to ruin it. But I have zero clue about your
yeah, I can see that.
Your top 1, 2, and 3 all.
I think you might figure out 2 of them.
Okay,
the rest you will get wrong.
We'll do that stupid game that's everybody has to do. I have to guess your top 5. How much crossover have we had? Oh, first crossover. Let's take our shirts off. Oh, clap hands, clap hands.
You can't make fun of
God.
the very medium you're partaking in, okay?
I know I am, because I'm meta.
No, who's
I
meta?
am in the meta.
You're Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm like 3 levels in. I've inceptioned the meta. I hate this. This is dumb.
You don't hate it.
With a passion.
You haven't had a good time.
No, I had a good time.
Okay.
But I'm doing something that's degrading.
It's not. What's degrading about listing stuff?
Just listing stuff, and people are enjoying it. It's like being on like a I don't know, it's like a beauty pageant. Like you're just people judging your lists. And I don't want people.
How could we involve the listener somehow in our top 5?
Well, I come up with that buddy geek analysis thing, which they can do.
3 episodes ago.
Well, that's why we're going to save it. We'll bring it out on the top 1. So, no need to be that meta.
Right.
I don't want to involve the listeners. They could send us an email and tell us what their favorite games are, and we could rag on them. Do that. Send us an email, boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. You can do a top 10 list or top 100. We don't care. Just send us a list.
But you've already declared how much you hate 100s and think they're stupid.
Do it. Send us your list of games.
Feel the hate going through you.
That you like, that you play with your sister.
There is another.
That's what I'm going to do every time. My number 10. There is another.
There is another.
Get to the number 1.
Number 1. There is no other.
You're the one.
You're the one.
You're the chosen one. There is no other. And, just send us a list. It doesn't have to be a board game. Just send us a list of things ranked that you like.
Just rank stuff.
Rank stuff that you like.
Rankstuff.com.
And just send it in.
There's a website called ranker.com where you literally go on there and rank stuff.
And that's stupid because it's arbitrary.
No, but I refer to it quite frequently.
And I know because you do it all the time. But then
I love ranking things.
I go on Ranker and look at
I rank friends. You're in the top 5, buddy.
Schwimmer? Or Joey?
No, my personal friends.
Oh, your personal friends. Like, do you rank the episodes or the characters? Who is your favorite friend?
You're my top 5,
Monica?
buddy. That's going to do it for this episode.
I like David
I'm
Schwimmer.
Gaby.
David Schwimmer's underrated. And this is
It's
Jerry.
Schwimmer, by the way. He doesn't swim.
Schwimmer?
Schwimmer.
This is Jerry. We'll come back next week.
Shimmer is what Robert Pattinson does in Twilight.
So that we can end this godforsaken. We will never. The day that we
will never do this again, at least for another year.
Took us 2 years to do this one.
3.
Took us 2019.
But it took a pandemic
to get us here.
And that's the show.
Let's do a top 100.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.